Well, I am tired. I guess I look like, but I'm gonna speak on today a little bit on the issue. I was listening to a podcast with Race Wars with Kevin and Sharon. But anyway, and they were talking about rape culture, and I seen that like in the Middle East on the news where they talk about the kidnapping and selling of the women, and we have here locally where we had actually policemen that were trafficking people across the border for sexual a business, and they were like right on the internet on the what they call the back page or back whatever, and we do have a problem in our society, and I strongly feel that if you have a way of oppressing and making a half of the society, be it in the Middle East, be it in the United States, where half the society is sort of like victimized. What was it? They were showing I think it was a football player that had got away with date rape. So like nowadays in the 21st century, if you go out on a date with a guy, you cannot eat, you cannot drink with the guy. So I guess because nobody's gonna come to your aid. They were showing a thing in Florida with the spring break where there was like thousands or at least 100 people around, and nobody came to the girls' aid. And I remember they used to say when I was growing up, and this was their whole sex education, don't holler rape, holler fire. Because nobody's going to come to your aid. You know what I'm saying? If you see somebody whooping their kids, nobody saves the child. You know what I'm saying? Because it's acceptable. You know what I'm saying? If you see a woman being raped, it's acceptable. You know what I'm saying? We try to have the women to look attractive. Wear the most attractive bathing suits. Like you can watch West Fest where they have the weather girl and she's in the thong. She's clapping her ass while she's twerking. You know what I'm saying? So we have this overly sex type of society. Everybody's looking at X-rated, especially on the internet. You know what I'm saying? But the whole like there's the guy that he ain't gonna be mowing over here anymore. We got old dude up the block with a rider boy. Talk to him. Sort of like family, so both have misunderstanding, but it's all right though. So I forgot that. Anyway, that his last name and same as family name. But anyway, we had a little misunderstanding of the course, like people that maybe sometimes have. And it ain't nothing big, but anyway, so he's gonna go with the rider mow on the lots, on the empty lots. So, we're gonna mow these other lots. But the reason why the other guy that he had, come over here, what was his name? But anyway, he had got convicted of rape. So he comes he says he got tired, he's run out of gas with his lawnmower, so he sits down and he's gonna tell me that a dog and a human female, you know what I'm saying, that somebody what happens, because his dick gets hard because he gets excited when he sees every female, I guess. He's he thinks that female is supposed to be excited. He goes, well, what about when the female goes into heat? And I'm like, well, human females don't go into fucking heat. Dogs go into fucking heat. And dogs fuck when they're on the period. And if you fuck a female when you're on the period, I think you're a nasty bitch. But that's not how it works. Dogs get pregnant when they're on their period. Females get pregnant in between their periods. And that's a major difference. That's like a 180 difference, And there's many other multiple difference too. Because I remember this, Heavy told him, he was telling his dog, the dogs were, having sex. And I went and broke it up. And he's like, oh, that's what they're learning. No, that's not a way to teach any child anything about sex. Just have them watch some motherfucking animal. like a dog or something, and then try to tell the female, oh, that's how, females are. No, female human beings are like female human beings, period, and dogs are like dogs, and etc. And you know what I'm saying? And then you shouldn't get confused. And there are some females that, they was told that enough at a very young age that they believe that shit. Well, anyway, and sometimes females are the ones that continue the oppression and the prostitution of females, even of their own daughters, even of their own sons. I know a lady, she was crying to me because she sort of prostituted her son, who was gorgeous, might I say, out, so she could afford to buy this couch. And then she was crying. We sitting on the couch. She was crying, talking about the couch ain't worth it, And I'm like, really, now, bitch, you think about it, you know what I'm saying? But because of poverty, because of lack of education, because that's the way they was brought up to behave. You hear I used to remember mothers talking about, oh yeah, my son gonna be a gangster. You know what I'm saying? And the daughter, the same thing. She thinks she's gonna be a gangster. She thinks she's being a gangster, but she's gonna be a prostitute. And then you look at her and then she's like, the mom's like, oh, what's wrong with them? How come they ain't? You know what I'm saying? Because just by the nature of the game, people do not. You know what I'm saying? Prostitutes are always victims, and they get fucked over more and more. That's why they call it, prostitute get fucked, and they get, and it's like and a lot of times it's like the madams or whoever's supposed to be in charge of it. They're very cruel, they're very hateful. You know what I'm saying? They ain't. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but anyway, we do have a problem in the United States. You know what I'm saying? And when you have a spring break where you have young guys ruin their fucking life because they want to get their dick wet every time it gets hard, and don't respect the fact that maybe this female might want to have an orgasm, might want to be conscious. You know what I'm saying? Just the same way you want to have an orgasm, you want to be conscious. But today I'm just saying females, I ain't saying cover up with the broker, but pretty much you gotta cover up. You can't eat, you can't drink, and you can't go any place in a smaller group of 12 motherfuckers. And make sure you got 7 of those 12 motherfuckers men, big ass motherfuckers, and then at least 2 motherfuckers that just, you know what I'm saying, they regular size, but they will just tear into a motherfucker. You know what I mean? So if you ain't going 12 deep, you really can't go around, today as being a female and feel safe. But as long as half our population is being oppressed and sexualized and sexually abused, and we have a raped society, that means that those women are out of circulation when it comes to a lot of stuff, and it enables outside people with outside interests, able to come in and financially devastate this region. And I'm just saying, that's the way it is. All right, good night.